it's not just playing here in St. Louis, it's playing around the country again.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're the reason why. You undertook some fundraising, not unlike your brother, several years to I'm assuming the rights had to be purchased and things of that nature to get the film back on the air.
Right.
Why did you want to do that? Why did you want to devote years of your life to a second airing of your brother's work?
That's a good question. At some point I asked myself that because it was so tough. And then one of my colleagues in Boston said, I can help you. Why don't we get a group together and why don't we do this? Because I was frustrated, I was ready to quit. And she and others there on the team helped us to raise that money. So it was very much a team effort.
And then the events of the last couple of years have been broadcast around the world right out of our backyard here.
That's right. What I say to people is when you look at Eyes, you are looking at people who have had enough, who made personal sacrifices, who were passionate about what they were doing. You're looking at leaders, you know, new leaders to be better. So there were a lot of leaders that you don't even know their names. You know Martin Luther King and others, and I respect that. But there's the woman who stayed up all night, 35,000 flyers. She ran off so they could be part of the boycott. It's those people that Eyes shows us about, just like all of us, just everyday people.
It's amazing to me how that detail you're talking about there, it's full of those intimate details throughout, but it moves. This could be an example to show in a history class or a filmmaking class. It's just very well done and moves along. There's a lot of passion and emotion in it as well.
I think that's what was so important to Henry, that he created teams to do each one of the episodes that were multiracial and also had very different points of view. So I gather at Blackside there was regularly a fight over how this material would be presented. How could they balance it? How could they make it fair to both sides?
You talk about seeing the faces of 60 years ago. Do you see some similarities in the faces you've seen in the coverage of Ferguson and other cities?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. The same issues are here. This afternoon I had the privilege of having a conversation with some students. And one of the things I asked the young men that were sitting there, who happened to be African American, what did it feel like to be profiled? My nephew was kind of regularly profiled, you know? I can't even begin to understand how much anger that builds up with that. And then to see somebody shot down, I mean, these issues are right in our face. Some people say, oh, Eyes on the Prize. That's okay, I got it. That's a while. Not so.
Eyes is just as relevant or more so, would you say?
Yes, and that's why we were talking about Eyes on the Prize then and now. Because we want to show how these two things are very closely connected.
Thank you for all the labor and the work that you've put into bringing it back to us.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And you know what? We want to show people a little bit more of it because
okay,
it is a very powerful piece of work.
And thank you, viewers.
Thank you, Judy. Let's take another look at Eyes on the Prize.
I guess our courage came out because we didn't have nothing, that we couldn't lose nothing. But we wanted something for ourselves and for our children. And so we took a chance with our lives.
We marched up the steps with this circle of soldiers with bayonets drawn. And walking up the steps that day was probably one of the biggest feelings I've ever had. I figured I had finally cracked it.
My freedom is very much entangled with the freedom of every other man. So I'm fighting for my own freedom here.
Are you scared?
Yes, I'm very much afraid. Everyone here is.
In a 10-year period, in the 1950s and 1960s, America fought a second revolution. It was fought in the South by black people and white. It was fought in the streets, in churches, in courts, in schools. It was fought to make America be America for all its citizens. These were America's civil rights years.
I take it then that you are advocating Negroes in New York to stay out of these national chain stores?
Oh, no, that's not true. I'm advocating that American citizens interested in democracy should stay out of chain stores.
All the people of the South are in favor of segregation. And Supreme Court or no Supreme Court, we are going to maintain segregated schools down in Dixie.
We're willing to be beaten for democracy, and you misuse democracy in the street. You beat people.
Get out in front of the camera and go on.
It doesn't matter being in front of the camera. It's a matter of...
We must come to see that the end we seek is a society at peace with itself, a society that can live with its conscience. And that will be a day not of the white man, not of the black man. That will be the day of man as man.
It was a hard fight, challenging America's basic beliefs. What is an inalienable right? What is equal treatment under the law? What is liberty and justice for all? It was a hard fight, but the prize was freedom, and no American could afford to lose.
I know the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes